Let's take a few minutes to talk about humidity. We all know how it affects us on a normal everyday basis by weather, but what does it do when you're trying to hatch eggs? So the first thing you need to know about humidity is that it is based off of surface area of what's being affected, not necessarily depth in incubation. So in this case, like I have this little tray at the bottom of my hatching time incubator. It does feed in humidity so that when this is running, it makes sure that it is calculated and at the level that I need it to, but I can add in additional humidity as needed using this tray. So what it doesn't matter is it doesn't care about the depth of the water. It cares about how much surface area is used. So I can fill one tray, I can fill both trays, I can fill even this little tiny tray in the middle. So that will all increase humidity. And it's the same thing with the tabletop incubators. When you look at these, you have different trays. So the smaller channels are the inner trays, and then bigger, more surface area is covered on the outer troughs. Now, the challenge with this, again, depth doesn't matter because it just is reading what's on the surface and sets your humidity by there. So the question that we most commonly hear is, what humidity should I be using? And the challenge with that is that it's going to be different for everyone. So location is a key factor. If you're back east, I know people that generally say 40% humidity is what they work with. I know people in the Northwest, they say they really can't add humidity, so they just basically do what they call dry hatch. I'm here in the Southwest, and so my humidity you can see. So using my hygrometers here, currently my sunroom is typically 55%. It usually is about in the 45%, and 55 is where I do incubate at. So it's not going to have to add a lot of water to this machine to maintain that. And then when you get into lockdown, you usually go up 10 to 15% to help soften that shell so that the gosling can pip. So in addition to your location in the US, so if you don't know what your humidity level is going to be, you're just going to have to either try or find a breeder in your area, and they might be able to advise you what to start with. I will have another video done on different kind of trackers and by weighing the eggs, and also by marking your air cells, you can narrow down on what humidity level you should be at. These ones are only at day 5, so I can't show you on these eggs just yet, but I will make a video for it, and I'll also reference videos I have from last year. The other thing that you want to consider is where in your home are you going to put your incubator. You want to avoid direct sunlight. You want to avoid lots of windows, and rooms like your laundry room, because they naturally get more humidity when you're running your washer and dryers. Now, I say all this as I'm standing in my sunroom looking at windows. Notice that my incubators are away from the windows. Now, I have actually taken hydrometers last year, and let's see, there's even one here. It says 50%. Last year, I set them around my sunroom for 2 weeks, and I measured where it is most volatile, and meaning that the humidity changes drastically throughout the day, excuse me, and where it does not. So yes, right up against the windows, it was not a happy camper. Right next to the door, because the door swings open this way, not a happy camper. But that little spot right there, just as consistent as that spot right there. I don't know the magic behind that, and because it's a cabinet, it can actually, do a better job of making the adjustments it needs to make. So those are all things that you do want to consider when it comes to humidity, where you place your incubators, and how effective they're going to be. So Like I said, I found the sweet spots in my room, and that's how I did it. I bought a bunch of these little things, and I tracked them every day to see how much they were changing day in, day out. Closest to my inside wall is where it was the most stabilized. And then again, weirdly enough, that little spot right there. So good luck, and I will get those other videos on tracking so that you can help measure and weigh and know what the humidity is best for you.